Hello and welcome to Eagle Break News, your on-campus guide to what's happening on campus. I'm Zoe Moody.
And I'm Joshua Ridings. So what's going on with our students abroad?
Well, Josh, I had the opportunity to have a Zoom call with James Gilbert. James is studying abroad in Belfast, Ireland at Lakeside Manor. He told me all about what it's like studying in Ireland. Let's check it out. Zoe Moody here from Eagle Break News, and I'm here with James Gilbert, who is in Ireland. Hey, James, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. It's like 8 p.m. here, and I think it's like 2 o'clock there. It's kind of wild.
Yes, it is. It is kind of crazy, but I'm so glad that you took the time out of your day to Zoom with me. It's amazing what technology can do now that we're like, what, thousands? Is it thousands of miles apart? So that's pretty crazy. Yeah. So, James, I was wondering, so you're in Ireland, obviously, studying abroad. When did you decide to do that?
I decided to do that, I think in 2019. I was in the Narnia Gateway, which I don't think is a thing anymore, um, with Carrie Balzer, and we were talking about like C.S. Lewis and how great he was. And Carrie just mentioned like, oh yeah, we have a study abroad program in Ireland that focuses on C.S. Lewis. And I was like, heck yeah, sign me up. So I signed up for fall 2020. And obviously that didn't happen. And then fall 2021 also didn't happen for obvious reasons. So here we are, however many years later, and like how many cycles of signing up, not getting able to do it, signing up, not getting able to do it. But we're here now, and I have learned a lot about C.S. Lewis, and I'm very happy about it.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that you had signed up earlier and it got canceled because there was a pandemic.
Oh,
Uh,
what?
what? So is this the first time now that JBU has finally sent kids back to Ireland?
No. So if memory serves correctly, there was a spring term this year and a summer term this year.
Oh, I see. Okay, so they have had time to, get back into what it's like having JBU kids in Ireland. So that's good. At least you're not the trial run.
That's for sure. No,
But you did.
there are a couple of things here and there where they'll say it and be like, oh, we haven't done this before. We're just gonna see how things shake
Ha!
out. Like, okay.
Oh, that's always fun. But you did come at an interesting time, right? Because I think you landed either right before or right after the Queen's passing. So I kind of wanted to look at, you're entering a new world essentially for Ireland and for the UK. So I kind of wanted to know what that's been like.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. We actually had class on the day of her funeral. Um, so we were able to spend like 3-ish, 4-ish hours watching the like first part of the funeral. Um, and then we were in class during the end part of it. But largely I haven't seen a huge difference. I think that's kind of attributed to me not knowing what Ireland was like before the Queen died. I think the like most interesting tidbit about the Queen's death is that all of the paper money is now going to be changed.
Right.
And they're just like printing billions of pounds, which is just insane to me. And then I think in like 2 years, it's all of the money, paper money with the Queen's picture on it. It's just going to be recalled, and you just can't use it anymore.
I knew a little bit about how there's tension between North and South of Ireland, but then my question is like, how much do you know about that? How much have you been able to kind of learn being there?
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that divide, and it spans literally hundreds of years, like longer than our country has been alive.
Wow.
These issues span, and it's Catholic versus Protestant. It's like it's a political issue as well, and it really spans all walks of life. Um, and it's really has just entrenched familial issues that show this like divide in Ireland. but people don't talk about it.
Hmm.
That's the weird thing. I recently came across a poem by Seamus Haney, um, titled "Whatever You Say Nothing." And I've been surprised at how well that characterizes Ireland, of these like this people group that has had a lot of problems historically, but they don't talk about it.
Hmm.
Um, which is interesting. And there's a million reasons why.
Overall thoughts about being in Ireland, and getting to do JBU, but somewhere else.
Yeah. Thoughts? Yeah. Insert thoughts here.
I would like your thoughts to wrap us up. Your thoughts on
That's such a
doing
broad
JBU in Ireland.
question.
I know it's broad.
JBU in Ireland.
Does it, okay, here's
Um,
another one. Does it
yeah.
still feel like JBU? I mean, part of it might be because you have a JBU professor there. But is it still like I am a JBU student, or is it like I'm in Ireland doing Ireland?
It is truly a unique experience. Um, so on a lot of levels, it just feels like I'm in Ireland doing my thing.
Hmm.
Because I mean, again, I don't have any American professors other than John. So I'm taking 4 classes, and 3 of them are with Irish professors. And on top of both of those, nobody knows JBU here. If you
Oh
say
yeah.
I'm a uni student, I'm a university student, they think, oh, you're from Queen's University or Ulster University. I'm not from either of those things. You can't really say I'm a study abroad student, because then they think it's like,
Right.
oh, the student like foreign exchange.
Right.
Okay. No, I'm going to an American university in Ireland. But I'm
Yeah.
being taught by Irish professors. Um,
Right.
so
Oh my gosh.
it's weird. Yeah.
That is weird. I get because at other study abroad programs I've looked at, I don't know if they were at GB or a different university, but it is more like an exchange kind of thing where you're going to a university in that country, like Oxford or whatever,
Mhm.
and you're doing stuff there, and those credits just transfer over or whatever. So it
Yeah.
is really different than we have a manor here. Like
Mhm.
you're gonna be here and no one else knows this random university from Arkansas. That is
Yeah, and
crazy.
that's another thing that I just point out. The manor is located in a neighborhood. So like when you go on walks, I go on walks in the mornings. Like it's just is a normal like neighborhood. Um,
It doesn't
and
look
so
like
like
you're in a school. It looks like you're in a house.
yeah, it looks like we're in a house. Like when I'm talking to like people on my walks, which doesn't happen very often, but they'll be like, "Oh, where are you? Like, you're obviously American. What are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, I'm studying JBU. I'm at the old nursing home." Like that's just how I describe it to the people here, because that's what this place used to be before it got owned by JBU or got leased to JBU.
Oh wow. I didn't know it was an old nursing home.
Yeah.
I go to school at the old nursing home.
It's like there really is, and sometimes that's the best way to describe it. Because like people in this community, there are people who worked here. Like I met someone who used to work here last Sunday.
Any words of advice to anyone who is set to go to Ireland in the
Mhm.
next semester?
Definitely pay the extra fee to get a second bag.
Hmm.
I tried to pack my life into 1 suitcase, and 1 carry-on, and it was a little rough. I'm just gonna say, we've been wearing the same clothes quite often. um, some of the other students are sick of this little shirt. um,
Oh my gosh.
like that's not to say you can't buy stuff, and obviously that's been happening, um, but other than that, I would say like do a study abroad program. I think if I could give
Hmm.
any advice, I would say do a study abroad program. It's so far it's been a really good experience. Even though I've packed in 1 suitcase and carry on. Um,
You've made it work.
yeah, I've made it work. I guess something slightly more practical, I would say make sure to bring lots of like hoodies and jackets and long
Mm. Is it
pants. And
cold?
yeah, it is pretty cold.
Okay.
In the mornings, it'll be like 7, 8 degrees Celsius. Um,
What is that in American?
I don't know. I switched all my stuff to Celsius.
Well,
It
thank
was good to
you.
talk to you.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for your time, James. I hope the rest of your semester is lots of fun. I will be seeing you in the spring.
See you then.
Wow, what a great opportunity JBU provides for its students.
To find out more about the Studying Abroad program, head on over to the International Programs page on JBU's website. Now, let's take a look at what happened last week. It was a pretty busy week.
Indeed, Zoe, last week did have a lot going on.
Weren't you there on Spirit Day?
Yes, I was. Here's a look at that.
SCA hosted a Spirit Day celebration in preparation for last week's TP game. Outside the CAF, there were fun games. And inside, you could try to win a free t-shirt by making a basket with a roll of TP. Overall, this event really helped to hype up campus prior to the world-famous TP game.
It's a good thing we had Spirit Day to hype us up.
Oh yeah, were you at the TP game?
Yes, I was, and here's a look at the epic TP game.
I'm Zoe Moody here at the TP game. Let's see what's happening. You got enough toilet paper?
I think so.
All right, awesome.
I'm so excited. I want the Eagles to win.
Yeah, go Eagles! Yes!
Let's go Eagles! Toilet paper game.
Go Eagles! Yeah, let's go!
Home debut. Let's get it home. Dale, dale, vamos, carajo.
So, you're campus security, right? Is there anything in particular you're watching out for?
Giant rolls of toilet paper. Rolls that are too big to be thrown at people.
Yeah. Are you here supporting a player?
I'm here supporting the team and the cheerleaders.
Awesome. Do you have a son or a daughter here?
Daughter on the cheer team.
Oh, awesome. All right. Cool.
Number one!
Woo! Can you hear anything? No. Awesome! I like your outfit. That's cool. Yeah. Are you gonna aim at anyone in particular?
Not right now.
Not right now. Maybe later.
Maybe. I'll see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So you brought a fan. It looks like.
I did. This is Mia, the Chihuahua.
Oh, are you excited?
Yes, he is.
You look very excited.
Trembling.
Oh.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're here. This is what we need, team spirit. Orry Phillips, you know about sports.
Yes, I do.
So listen, who are the team that we are fighting against?
We're fighting tonight against Barclay, the Bears. They come tonight to take on John Brown. They may lose, and they may be the victims of a massive tsunami of toilet paper. It's going to be awesome. Yeah!
Thank you, Orry Phillips. Hello. Hello, T-Rexes. Hello. Legends, seriously, wow. I'm with Yamil. Hi, Yamil.
Hi there.
Are you excited?
Yes, I am.
Now, you asked me you were looking for toilet paper, right?
Yes.
Let's see if we can find some for you.
Yeah.
Let's find the toilet paper. There's got to be some somewhere. Where do we
Congratulations, you just earned the best technical foul in college basketball.
And that is the TP game at JBU.
What a fun tradition. Lots of spirit from the students and such an energetic crowd.
Yes, plenty of spirit and energy, but the fun didn't stop. Here's Jemuel at the drive-in movie from Saturday last week.
Despite the inclement weather, that didn't stop the audience from missing the movie. Thanks to the flexible planning by SEA, everybody who wanted to watch Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was able to do so indoors. To go the extra mile, the audience had their blankets ready with pillows and complimentary snacks and drinks. It was a great night to bring in the Halloween atmosphere. The rain may have ruined the classic drive-in movie, but the magic of watching the film was not lost. Whether they felt comfortable with a lantern and a pumpkin or watching with someone else, it was almost like sitting in your car. The movie night went well with a handful of people. For Eagle Break News, I'm Jemuel White.
Thanks, Jemuel.
I think drive-in movies should make a comeback, especially with those old classic movies. And I guess Harry Potter is old enough to be a classic?
Can't be that old.
Well, technically, a movie has to be 20 years or older to be considered a classic, and that first Harry Potter movie came out in 2001, so that makes it a classic at this point.
Well, I guess that is older than me.
While we reminisce on about other classic movies, here's Orry with two very special guests this week.
Thanks, Zoe and Josh. As usual, there is a lot to get to. We're in that period of the athletic season where basketball, soccer, and volleyball are all in action at the same time. While the basketball teams here at John Brown University look to start the season strong, volleyball looks to finish strong before Sooner Athletic Conference tournament play. And the soccer teams, as well as the cross-country teams, enter conference postseason play this week. After their season opener against Ozark Christian, the women's basketball team will look to piece together a couple of strong performances on the road as the Golden Eagles will participate in the Oklahoma Wesleyan Classic in Bartlesville, Oklahoma on November 4th and 5th. They'll face the hosting Oklahoma Wesleyan Eagles on November 4th at 8 p.m. before taking the court the very next afternoon, facing Friends on November 5th at noon. The JV women struggled away from Bill George Arena last season, going just 6-10 in games outside of Siloam Springs. These couple of games will be very important in establishing themselves as consistent threats to win every single night. With that said, this is a JV team that is more than up for the task as they bring back almost all of last season's roster, including two-time second-team All-SAC honoree Tara Stevens, with a couple of new additions that should make a big impact. I got a chance to speak to JV head women's basketball coach Jeff Soderquist about how the team shapes up this season. Here's our conversation. I'm here now with JVU head women's basketball coach Jeff Soderquist. Coach, it's great to be talking to you again. Long time no see, but I mean, first and foremost, I have to ask, how does it feel to be back playing basketball again? It's been a long off season. I'm sure your players off, ready to go.
Yeah, we've been real excited because we really thought last year was a year of just closeness, and we really were close to making the national tournament. So everybody was excited to get back and start trying to work at it. So yeah, we're excited. It's cooler weather, and it's a great time to start basketball season up.
So there's so much returning talent on this roster, right? I mean, Tara Stevens is back, one of the best players in the entire conference, has been basically since she stepped onto campus. Two of the top three-point shooters in the conference last season, Maddie Altman and Natalie Smith. You got Emily Sanders back. She was on the SAC all-freshman team. Got some newcomers as well that should make a big impact. But first, I want to talk about just simply put the returning talent. Again, that core group back yet again. And a lot of these players, they've been playing together here at JV for 2-3 years. That's really got to be a benefit for this team in the long run.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the last couple of years I keep telling everybody we're so young. Well, now I feel like I can say, hey, we're experienced now, and we are ready to go. So, yeah, I mean, when you say you've got your whole starting five back, that's exciting. I think they've all have gotten better. I think one girl that's really gotten better is Emily Sanders. I mean, we kind of threw her to the wolves last year after sitting out 2 years due to her injuries, and she's really come on, and I think we're going to really see a big jump in improvement with her. But then, to have somebody back like a Maddie Altman that's played for me now 5 years, wow. I mean, that's just huge, her using her COVID year. And then again, it all focuses around Tara and the things that Tara's doing. And again, Natalie, as a sophomore last year, was third team all-conference. So that's great to have that core back. And I will tell you, the girls that have all come back, that have come off the bench, have all gotten better, too.
and that progression obviously very key. And I mean, this year really the year that, I mean, that core group again back together, looking to put it all together, make that run to the national tournament. I mean, last season was really good, but as you said, fell just short. What's the mindset now going into this season where it's all on the line, right? Some of these players are getting older, don't have a whole lot of eligibility left. I mean, this really should be a big year, right? It's tournament or bust.
Yeah, I think these girls really believe that this is their year and that they're ready for it and that they want to go to the national tournament, and they even want to they think they can win conference. And I think we've been telling, you look at, we beat MAC-U last year when we made that run where we won 10 out of our last 12, and we beat USAO on the road. We had Texas Wesleyan beat twice at their place, and so those are some of the top teams in the conference, and so they really believe that this is the year, and they're actually excited about it.
Absolutely, and a lot of reasons to be excited. One of those reasons, I think, too, is the newcomers. You got several new players coming in, a couple transfers. Break down what they bring to the table here real quick.
Yeah, I think it starts with Macy Maines coming from Henderson State. She played there 4 years. She had a really good sophomore and junior year. She had a kind of a foot injury her senior year, so she didn't have quite the senior year that she wanted. She was kind of having to come off that foot injury. But, her junior year, she was, I think, first team all-conference in that D2 conference. She had 2 30-point games, and she's got really deep range from the three-point line, which is, again, just going to fit into what we do right there. And then Bella, coming from Southwest Baptist, 6'2" post player. We're real excited to have her. We recruited her out of high school. She went up there, but we've gotten her back now, and she's immediately going to add depth to our post play, and we're really excited to have her. And then we got a great freshman in Nadia. I think she's going to help us this year as a freshman, even with all the talent that we have. And she can shoot the ball. She can play multiple positions. She reminds me a lot of Brooke Barker that we had back on our Final Four team around 2014 through 16. She just reminds me where Brooke were able to play multiple positions inside or outside, and Nadia is that same thing. We don't know whether she's a wing or a post player because she can play both.
So it all starts with your matchup against Ozark Christian, a team that you were very good against last season. Then you go to Bartlesville for the Oklahoma Wesleyan Classic. So a pretty big few first matchups to start the season off. And I mean, with the way the schedule is structured, conference play right around the corner, right there in November, how important is it to start off hot, set the tone for some of those really huge contests coming up in SAC play that, again, just a few weeks away?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, these first 5 games are going to be big for us. We want to go. I mean, Ozark Christian, usually on paper, right, we look like we've got the better talent, but they're very well coached. I mean, last year it was 12-12, through a lot of the first quarter. Then all of a sudden we went on like a 20-something run, and all that. But then those 2 classics that we're in, we're going to be playing some very good teams that will get us ready for SAC play, because then we start off with USAO and Texas Wesleyan, 2 of the top 4, and so we've got to use these 5 games to be ready for that type of competition.
So I also want to ask about your approach, right? With so many experienced players returning, some newcomers as well, including players such as Macy Maines, who quote unquote, know the drill. She was really good at the NCAA D2 level, as you mentioned. I mean, what's your approach been when navigating the offseason? Obviously, I'm sure a lot of players' mindset of we were that close to taking it to the next level as a program in the 2021 to 22 season. I mean, has there really been this kind of chip on their shoulder all offseason, and how have you really tried to, again, navigate that and, adapt to that in how you coach them up?
Yeah, I think there has been a little bit. It's my job to keep them focused on that, just because I don't want them to settle. Well, just because we've got everybody coming back, just because we've got new players, that we're just going to show up and it's going to happen. We've got to have that desire and that drive to make it happen, because our conference, everybody else has improved and gotten better. I think our conference this year actually is deeper than it's been. I think even the teams below us, I think, can win any night. I think all those teams and the top teams have just gotten better. So it's making them focused on, we're just not going to show up and it's going to happen. We've got to have that desire, and like you said, kind of a little bit of that chip on our shoulder as we go out there and play these games.
Without a doubt, it should be a very fun year, Coach. As you said, conference is deeper, a lot of competitive parity. I think that only makes things even better when it comes to the product you see out there on the court. I want to round things out by asking you, what is your message to the fans? What is your message to them? Obviously, again, big year, a lot of returning talent. Should be a lot of fun. What do you have to tell them?
Yeah, you know, I think coming off of these COVID years when especially that first year when we weren't allowed to have some certain fans and all that, is trying to generate that back of just, this is kind of the rallying point of the university and a chance for whether it's students coming out to kind of forget about school for a while and kind of enjoy the evening and have some pride in what we do. I mean, the athletic program here from basketball all the way down is doing a great job. And so trying to get that spirit back that I think we kind of lost a little bit due to COVID and all that. We, you know, one of our themes this year as an athletic department is to reconnect and re-engage. And that's what we want to try to do, because I felt like we were told not to do that through COVID, and understandably why. But now it's time to, hey, let's get back to the fun things that athletics can bring to a campus and a university.
Again, it should be a very fun year. As you said, so many great teams here at John Brown University. Women's basketball team set to be one of them. Again, thank you for your time. That is JBU head women's basketball coach Jeff Soderquist. Best of luck on your season, Coach.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, the men's basketball team will be back in action at Bill George Arena this week. They face Ozark Christian on November 1st. The Golden Eagles dominated the Ambassadors last season when JBU handily beat them by a score of 109-54. If the offense is anywhere close to being as explosive as they were in last season showing against Ozark Christian, expect another long night for the Ambassadors, who need to maintain their defensive prowess against the Golden Eagles for a full 40 minutes to have a chance. Next, JBU takes on Philander Smith at 7:05 p.m. on Thursday, November 3rd. This should be a fun one as the Panthers play a fast-paced, exciting brand of basketball. This should be a game that is sure to test JBU both physically and mentally before JBU rounds out the week with a matchup in Conway against Central Baptist on Saturday, November 5th at 3 p.m. It's a big week for the JBU men as they'll be getting their first full week of action under their belts. This is a team that looks a lot different personnel-wise than in years past, as they have to replace 5 of their top 7 scorers from last season, as well as their top 4 rebounders. I spoke to JBU head men's basketball coach Jason Beshta about the changes the team's undergone and more. Here's our chat. I'm here now with JBU head men's basketball coach Jason Beshta. Coach, long time no see. How does it feel to be back to playing basketball?
It's just great to finally have that feel of a normal season kind of in front of us. It's been a normal preseason, not a bunch of things with restrictions to keep us apart. We haven't seen masks. Just the idea of we get to go into some games and get back to how this used to be. And for some guys, it's new. I mean, some of these guys that have been here a couple years haven't experienced that yet. And so I'm excited for us to be able to kind of just get out there back to the old wonder of the toilet paper game.
And I mean, it all starts, as you said, with the world-famous toilet paper game up against Barclay. I want to ask you as the coach, right? What's it like when the toilet paper finally rains down on the court? I know you've had this moment numerous times, but it's something that, right, it can't get old.
No, I mean, this is such a cool tradition to be a part of. And to think that it's only something the players enjoy is crazy. I mean, as coaches, we love it. I mean, it's such an incredible environment to be a part of. And when that shot comes, thankfully, after my first year here, which I feel like it took me like 5 minutes before we even scored, and everyone's just waiting forever to be able to throw those rolls of toilet paper, it tended to happen a little more quickly. And I think the way I take it in now is just more watching our guys, turning and finding my family, finding people in the crowd, and just seeing the enjoyment on everyone's faces, because it's such an incredible environment and such a special event to be a part of.
And the cleanup, it takes a few minutes. It's, got to get it all off the court, have a nice playing surface. But once it's time, it's back to playing some basketball, right? And this is the first game of the season. Very important because of the way the schedule's structured. Conference play is just a few weeks away. So really, I mean, just how mentally prepared, how mentally focused, how tough do the players have to be going out there? Obviously, it's a big moment, one that creates some real lifelong memories. But then you got to flip that switch, right, to get back to we got to go out, win a game. And if some of those guys are fighting for playing time, right, they got to go show their stuff.
Yeah. And I think what helps us is being the first game of the season, it's a lot easier to flip that switch. Everybody's out there wanting to prove themselves, prove where I should be in the rotation or in the order when they get an opportunity. So I don't think it's that hard to flip that switch. If this was later in the season, it might be a little different for something like that. But I think, we can take it all in, but basketball is about flipping switches anyways. I mean, you got to be able to go from handling the highs and the lows and the different things that the game can throw at you. And so I think our guys are going to be just fine with that. They're just ready to get out and compete, ready to compete against somebody else by this time of year too, instead of just ourselves.
So let's talk a bit about that rotation, about guys going in there getting playing time. I mean, this is a team that's in a position they haven't been in a while, where that core group of guys from the last 2 or 3 years are gone. No more Luke Harper, no more Ira Perrier, Denzier Carnes, Brent Toussaint. That was really, again, that core group, so tough, but again, now kind of in that post-Harper, Carnes, Perrier era. And that means, 5 of your top 7 scorers, you got to replace that production. Top 4 rebounders, you got to replace that production. So first, before we go into specifics in terms of positions, just what's it like? What was the mindset day one of the offseason, knowing a lot of shoes to fill?
I think we just talked about we needed to kind of create our own idea of who we're going to be. We watched in small groups as a team, we watched the trailer for the Netflix Redeem Team movie that they came up with. And it wasn't so much the idea that we're this team that needs to redeem ourselves from something, although there's some of that. We've had some expectations that weren't realized over the last couple years, I think, with that special group that we had. But I think it's about recognizing we need to create a new standard here for us. And who we're going to be, how we're going to be playing, what we're going to be known for. And there's new opportunities for everybody to step up. And it's kind of like starting from scratch again. And there's some excitement in that as a coach. There's excitement in that as a player at the opportunities that are in front of you. And so I think we've just been trying to paint that as our picture early on so that we can start identifying and narrowing down as we get to games even now, who are we going to be?
So looking now, we'll start with the backcourt and then go to the front court. The backcourt does have the benefit of having quite a bit of continuity. Peyton Guillot, DJ Ellis both averaged double figures in points last season. Guillot was especially tough perimeter defender. And Ellis as well, really good three-point shooters, both of them. Also have James Beckham, also have Noah Taylor. Both of them have a lot of experience that they bring to the table. So talking about the backcourt, right? Got to think you're in a pretty good spot, all things considered. And really, with the experience there, haven't those guys been kind of looked towards for leadership?
Yeah, and I think that having a good backcourt is it's paramount. At any level, those are the guys that are going to have the ball in their hands the most, and you're going to play through those guys. So I think to have the experience back that we do in all of those guys he named is just huge for us. I expect Peyton's going to have a big year.
Oh, yeah.
I think, if anything, having those other guys in front of him last year that we had probably just kind of held him back a little bit. I think we're going to see him do some things this year. They're going to leave people's jaws dropped when he can get going, because he's not just a shooter. He can do so many things for us, and I think he's going to be really special for us this year. DJ has brought a lot just in terms of his playing ability, his leadership ability, and really adds a lot to our team this year. Having guys back like James, like you mentioned, I think James will shift even more to playing more like a forward spot this year. He could be the best rebounder in our league, especially pound for pound. I think could be the best one, especially offensive rebounding with his motor and his drive to go get the ball. Guys like Noah that are back. I think Noah was our third leading scorer as a freshman a couple years ago and had a down year last year with some things, and he's coming back poised, ready to really make a run at things. Latrell Maitland played some minutes for us last year, and he's a new player this year. I think some of the things that he has to his game didn't get a chance to be showcased last year. And this year he's shown that he can shoot the ball, he can score the ball, he can distribute, he can defend, he can do a lot more things than people have seen yet out of him. So I think there's just a really strong group of those guys back that we can lean on, but then, a lot of fresh new faces fighting for those minutes as well.
And a lot of those fresh new faces come in the front court, which I'll talk about here. I mean, again, in that position where got to replace a lot of guys. Toussaint, not here anymore. Carnes either. But, you look at these teams these last years. A lot of it's been built around the three ball. But behind that success really has been having a really good set of front court guys like Quentin Bailey, as I mentioned, Carnes Toussaint, and again, in a position where a lot of new faces who at this point in time has really kind of set themselves apart, establishing themselves as somebody that can be relied on down low.
Yeah, and one thing to even preempt that is, we've had from especially Denzier at the 4 spot for us the last 4 years, preceded by Josh Bowling. They overlapped a little bit. So we've had the last 2 starters at that spot have been All-Americans for several years for us. That makes my job really easy, but it also means as we look at what we're going to do and how we're going to use that spot, it's different, and we have different types of players now. As I mentioned, James Beckham's certainly going to shift down into that role a little bit more. But as we've added some of our new guys, I think the big one you got to mention is TC, Tyron Collins, who's a junior college transfer from NEO, and he's a 6'7", athletic forward, could play the 4 or the 5, but could really guard about every position on the floor. And he's going to give us a real versatility when he's out there, an athletic presence. And then we've just got we added some size, like you said. Guys like Boaz Camp was a redshirt for us last year and only played in a handful of games. And so he'll be a redshirt freshman, and he's someone that's really going to be battling for a big spot for us. He's big inside. He's really gotten better and better at his ability to finish, his ability to defend and rebound. We also brought in a new guy, a couple other new bigs, and Benjamin Agwu Emi Benny comes from a junior college as well. He's from Nigeria originally. He's big. He's got a lot of abilities in him that I think, like with all of our bigs, as you're going to see, it's kind of a young group of bigs that we're going to have for a while. And I think it's going to be a special group that's going to have a chance to really just keep getting better and better throughout the year and throughout their career. And then Lucas Gabani, another big guy who can play the 5 or the 4 for us from up in Missouri. And he's going to be a special player. He's got the body already of a college basketball player as a freshman. He's athletic. He's strong. He can really move. So I'm excited about where all those guys are going to get when all's said and done.
So I want to ask, what's your approach to this with so many new faces there? What has this experience kind of taught you as a coach? You've been around here for a very long time, but every new group brings some new things to the table. What has been your approach to this, and in return, kind of what have those new guys kind of taught you in terms of, how your philosophy regarding, teaching basketball?
Sure. It feels like I joked with somebody recently that the last few years I've almost felt like I'm an NBA coach, because you got just older guys, mature guys, they're all back, they kind of know their stuff, and it's just refining things each year and trying to get a little better. And now it's going back to square one. This is kind of more of what a lot of college basketball becomes about. And you're playing with a lot of new guys at once, a lot of fresh faces. And it's fun. It's been an adjustment for us as a coaching staff to think what level of teaching do we need to do. If it's a ladder, sometimes I feel like the last couple of years we've been teaching several rungs up the ladder already. Now we got to think, we're not even a couple rungs up. On these things, we got to go to level 1. We got to start here and make sure we got this down before we can start climbing. And you could look at it and choose to be frustrated, or you can look at it and see, hey, it's going to be great to see where we're going to get as we keep learning these things. And it's been a hungry group to learn. They've been really teachable, and they work hard, and it's hard to ask for a lot more than that out of our players. So I think, while it can be frustrating at times, you wish we had some of these things down already. I think one of the neat things about this group is week to week we've just seen steady improvement. Sometimes it's just an individual player, sometimes it's in an individual play we see, and sometimes it's just as a whole, just everything we did that day just looks better. And if we can just keep getting a little bit better each day and each week, we're going to find that this group's going to have a chance to do some special things.
So lastly, I want to ask, what's your message to the fans? Obviously, it's going to be a lot of fun this season, a lot of talent on the roster, some new, some old. A big schedule coming up, a lot of really good teams coming to Bill George Arena this season. What's your message to the fans as this season gets underway?
Well, I hope that the excitement that everyone's going to have for the toilet paper game, I hope that we can take that and can we carry it forward? Can we carry it forward to continue to support the basketball team as we go through the year? Because we've had, before COVID hit especially, I thought we were really getting a great run of things with the student body getting involved. and enjoying coming to games. And we had a great pack of them in there just supporting us. And it's so much more fun that way. You know, I think as our guys have become guys that are more and more integrated throughout campus and just have a lot more different kind of friend groups across campus, they have more people that want to come support us as well. We've got great guys, great people that if you know them, you want to support them. And so my hope is that that'll continue to grow and we can make coming to men's basketball games something that's, hey, this is something you don't want to miss, because it's just such a fun environment to be at. It's such a special thing to watch our group play by the way that we play. And hopefully it's something that's different than you see throughout the league with some of the other teams. And hopefully it's something that everyone can be really proud of.
That is JBU head men's basketball coach Jason Beshta. Appreciate your time, and as usual, best of luck on your season.
Thank you.
Going to soccer, postseason play officially kicks off this week as the JBU women participate in the SAC quarterfinals on Friday, November 4th. And the men, they'll start tournament play with their quarterfinal matchup on Saturday, November 5th. The JBU women have been strong all season and are looking to claim their third straight conference tournament title. Meanwhile, the JBU men have been pretty safe bets, all things considered, to emerge victorious in the conference tournament's opening round as they've won their last 4 quarterfinal matches. Going to volleyball, JBU rounds out their regular season schedule this week. It all starts on Tuesday, November 1st with a non-conference match in Point Lookout, Missouri against College of the Ozarks. The Golden Eagles defeated the Bobcats at Bill George Arena in October and will look to claim the regular season sweep with a winning effort on the road. JBU then returns to Bill George Arena with matches on back-to-back days against the top 2 teams in the Sooner Athletic Conference when they face Texas Wesleyan on Friday, November 4th and SAGU on Saturday, November 5th. JBU will look to even the regular season series against the Rams as Texas Wesleyan beat them earlier on in the season in Fort Worth. The rematch takes place against the Rams at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, SAGU, they've been the top team in the SAC all season long, showing few signs of vulnerability as they've breezed through their regular season schedule. JBU's been one of SAGU's many victims as the Lions took a win in the Lone Star State earlier this season when these 2 teams met at SAGU's place. This time, the Golden Eagles may have to put together their strongest performance of the season against the Lions when this one gets underway at 1 p.m. as SAGU surely won't make things easy on them. All home basketball, soccer, and volleyball games can be watched live on the SAC Sports Network, the broadcasting home of JBU Athletics. Meanwhile, the cross-country team will head to Oklahoma City for the Sooner Athletic Conference Championships. It's been a very strong season for the program, and they'll look to further their momentum against the best the conference has to offer on November 5th. That will do it for sports. Best of luck to all of our teams and student athletes in action this week. Now let's take it back to the news desk with Zoe and Josh.
Thanks, Orry, for that update. That's all for this week. I'm Zoe Moody.
And I'm Joshua Writings. Stay golden, Eagles.